Hello, friends. Just for tomorrow, close your eyes and imagine a place where there is no trace of a place which was considered to be the safest and most impenetrable fort in the world. A prison that is not on land, but on a deserted rock in the middle of the sea. It was made of thick iron bars all around you, machine guns on every corner. With guards are on guard, and if by some miracle you manage to cross these walls, even if you take it, you have it in front of you. Half of Francisco's Gulf. The sea is colder than a mile wide, and the water is so life-threatening that I fell in a few minutes of human evil. And then the good ones, we talked to them. They are the prisoners of the United States of America, where they are the prisoners of war. Those who didn't get the rest of the prisoners were sent here. If you have a secret, then you have a secret. It wasn't just hard to get out of here. He was friendly, but friendly. When a man wants to live and be free. And then there is no doubt about it. It doesn't mean we're in the middle of a union today. These are the secrets that shake the whole world. This story is not just a story about a prison break. Human. The brain of the half-brother of Shamta was repeated, and a survival war. 3 of them did what no one thought they did. They did not break the bars. They did not try to break the walls. Rather, they created a path. He dug a tunnel from inside his own cell for months under the nose of the guards. Today's video, we shall know how to eat spoons and a broken vacuum. From the cleaner's motor, they made the biggest prison in the city. Is this the truth of this month's plan? This is a story that today is a story. It is important to understand, because then we will understand. Why would they say that it wasn't just a building? A monotonic weapon was 1900 and 3930. This is the bloodiest in America. Federal prisoners like the Mafia. Don and Machine Gun Kelly are like Abraham here. हवा में सांस ले चुके थे, यहाँ की सुरक्षा व्यवस्था. There were 3 levels. The first was inside the prison. Strict discipline where every once in a while, prisoners were counted secondly. The structure of the prison was made of strong steel and concrete. The net, which it seemed impossible, and the third most wounded servant of the guard. The jail administration often spread rumors that the water around the jail, in Adam Code, sharks are kept so that the prisoners, there is fear in the mind about the relationship. But the truth is this. The temperature and the force of the water were more dangerous than the sharks. It was only a matter of distance from the earth. But in this cold water, it swims across the distance. It was as if he had died in the past. 36 people tried to escape before the knee. 23 were captured. 6 were shot. 2 drowned. 5 more were never found, presumed dead, meaning success. Record 0 prisoners were housed in extremely small, 5 foot by 9 foot and were kept in tight cells. Here was the meaning of life. Just keep your eyes peeled, but in that cramped environment, 4 people were in the midst of a struggle. Madness and genius were the masterminds of this whole epic. Frank Morse. Prisoner. No AZ. 1.4. 1-1 Maurice Coy Sadaran Aparati. No, he wasn't a 30-something. Keep it in shine. He was a child, and he was a child. Him. He was sent to prison because he escaped from other prisons. And he knew that he was going to run away. No, it's just a mind game. The people who are trustworthy and diligent. He needed to meet England brothers, June and Clarence, both banks. He was arrested several times before he was released from prison. They were the most powerful and the most powerful. They were very good swimmers because their childhood was spent in the swamps of Georgia. And the 4th partner was Alan West, though. He didn't give up on him, but he did. In the early days of his life, he became a great man. All 4 of them in the same cell block B. Then they started and started. This is the game that is the world's greatest. It's called a jailbreak. So what was the end of it? The walls in front of the prison will not be broken. The weakness behind the cells of B block will be exploited. A utility corridor immediately behind. There was a narrow, dark corridor where there were water pipes and electrical wires. This corridor went straight to the roof, a hole in his back wall. They could have been there, but they thought it was. How to make a hole in a concrete wall with no drill. There was no hammer, there was no hammer, there was no hammer. When they heard it, they were surprised. This is the greatest story of all time. Teaching, and then they came up with the seeds. Then he squeezed the handles of the spoons and used them like sugar. And they began their journey. Under the sink ventilation grill, Iberaigs around the air coming lattice, started spending concrete. They worked mainly in the evenings between 5:30 and 9 o'clock when there would be a music award in jail. Prisoners played their instruments or listened to the radio. The noise hid the faint sound of digging. It was so hard and tiring. It took several days for them to move forward. A broken vacuum cleaner motor, and he tried to turn it into a drill, but then he was thrown into the hands of God. But what if the God of the wickedness of the wicked? Then, when the guards were a little overwhelmed, the whole game was over, in your pockets, and then they went to the ground, and then they went to the ground. Do not doubt the rest of them, in the darkness of the months. Then they ventilated the girl 4 times, and so much so that I was able to get out of a new one, deceiving the guards to hide the roof they cardboard in. Make a fake grill out of old newspapers and paint it on the wall. I painted and replaced the real girl, and now she got out of her closet. Could have gone to this unity cordon, but that was only the first step. And the real choices were about to begin. Darkness and Sankra utility corridor there. A secret workshop was set up where they could carry out their plans, away from the eyes of the guards. Working on next steps, and this is where his talent and ability to juggle really came to the fore. It was a great waterfall as we did. Then he said, "It's the water that's in the water." So they decided to build a prison. They have more than 50 rubber rains. Then they will either leave the rain or the rain. Coats they sat together and met in jail. With the help of hot and warm pipes, 1.6 feet wide and 14 feet long. Air-filling raft and life jacket. But I just think about the limited light inside the jail. Building a boat without any modern equipment that can carry the weight of 3 people and can ride the waves of the sea. It was a wonderful engineering experience in the air. They had an old concert. He turned a small box into an air pump. They made the wood chips, but now another one. Then the night they came. The night they came. Ours will test the closets if they find the bed empty. He will go out and get out. At least 8 of them will be caught beforehand. Then they had to wait for 9 hours for the day to come. The most classic and scary part was the dummy heads, the simulated heads they twisted, paper bath soap. And the dust of cement powder was mixed with a paste and made from it a human head and create the shapes. Color them in skin color so that they can see the real thing and the widest thing. From the prison barbershop, the real human hair and sticking to the heads of the simulated heads. They seemed to be deceived in the dark. And then he turned to them in the night. They will be placed on pillows and blankets like this, as if they were truthful. Then, in the darkness of the guard, then the prisoners will sleep, and it will give them a price to escape. May 19 subast. Everything was ready until raft life jacket cheapo and dummy heads. Then he waited for the night to come. 11 June 19, Sobast night. At 9:30 p.m., the lights went out and the prison sunk in. Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers began to execute their plan. They had those scary things on their beds. Dummy heads were decorated and stuffed under clothes with towels and blankets to make it look like this, like a body sleeping. One by one, they made their way to the bottom of the hole. Then they went into the woods and carried them with them, and they took life jackets. There's a big mess here. Fourth mate, Alan West. Perhaps he couldn't remove his ventilation grill in time. To stick it, too much cement paste was applied, which got damaged. He was miserable in his cell. Then the three of them went back and forth. There was a big shock, but stopping meant getting caught. Morris and Anglin brother, utility. They climbed about 30 feet up the pipes they found in the corridor and one near the roof. Reaching the ventilation shaft, he had already replaced the grill of this shaft months earlier. They removed the gauze, and finally, they were out of jail. They reached the roof and were now under the open sky. He was still in prison and the most dangerous. It was more likely that they would cross the roof. Guardias watchtavromide. Their big searchlights were constantly spinning. One wrong move, one sound, and they could be showered with bullets. They crawled to the edge of the cliff. From there, he climbed out using a kitchen vent pipe. 50 feet nechay zamin bird, utarna shurukia. This a dark-off prison. Where the lights were low, they came down. The last bath, 12-foot-high cantilever wire fence, and then the entire edge of the wedge. Then the water came down at night. At about 10 o'clock, there was a thick cloud and water. Then they gathered the bones. He opened his raincoat raft from the concertina pump. I wear an air-filled life jacket and then wear it. In that cold, dark, deadly water, he got down, and that was the last moment when someone saw him, seen or believed to have disappeared from the shores of Alcatraz, the cold darkness of San Francisco Bay. Their target was Angel Island, about 2 miles from the next. The morning of the 12th of June, as usual, began the morning countdown, Guards B. They went into the block with Morris and the English brothers. Everything in the rooms looked like the prisoners were sleeping. A guard took a prisoner. Then he turned his back on his feet and he didn't move. Then, when he was in doubt, he turned his back on him. Then he touched the ground and fell to the ground. It was the first day of the morning. 3 inmates were missing in the entire prison. Then the rock was broken by Al West in his coat of arms. And then the whole of the United States was destroyed. Biggest manhunt in history launched, FBI Quest Card Thania. The police all searched for them. Helicopters came from the sky and names. And then they came to the water. And then they came to the water for a few days. I found a few things on Angel Island. Handmade wooden Shipu 2 life jacket, floating in water on the edge of an Angel Island, and some pieces of rubber raft of plastic. There's also a packet in the English. There were photos and some leaves. But what they didn't find was Frank. Maurice June England and Clarence England's wine starts from here. Secrets. Does he who stands today escape the cold water of that night and the swift flow? 17 years of FBI. Then, after the 34 hours, the 3 of them came together. They will be abandoned. The water was so cold that it was too cold for them. Then the month passed and they died. There will be a lot of people and a lot of evidence. And the story goes, for years, to England prior anonymous cards and flowers about those who meet. These 2 brothers were the ones who had 2,000. Francisco police found a stone, as John Ingle wrote in it. My name is John England. Then we went to the house, and the three of us survived. It was very hard in stone to claim that Frank Morris in 2008. Dead and Clarence too, thousands of them said, "It's not a book." But then the stone broke again. The U.S. Marshal Service has not yet closed the case. 3 of them are still alive today, until they are caught and not dead. Not to be confused with the 9-year-old, but to be confused with the 9-year-old. It wasn't a good story and a good story. And they were free from their sins. He created a path. They beat the concrete with spoons and raincoats. Or maybe we'll go to the sea or not. They will never know, but they will have a night. He showed the world that no prison is so serviceable. The hope of human freedom. Coin friends, what do you think? Did Frank Morris and his English brother really escape that night? The rest of your life is free. Then he went into the cold waters of the Gulf of San Francisco forever. Definitely in the comments below, say, "This is a secret that everyone has their own secret." If you are the world's most famous and well-known jailbreak. If you like the truth, then like this video. Share more such exciting and mysterious stories with your friends. Subscribe to our channel for. Don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon. See you in the next video. Thank you for coming back with another amazing story.